to the Killtocraft podcast. I am Vanessa. This is episode 30. Thank you for coming. All show notes for this episode will be on the Killtocraft podcast Ravelry Group, which you can find for us in the groups tab. And you can go to my blog, which is killtocraft.wordpress.com, which will also have the show notes. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Killtocraft. And I just wanted to say thank you to all my new viewers for sticking with an episode and giving it a try, because I know there's so many podcasters out there that are really good. And also thank you for my returning viewers who are amazing and super supportive, so thank you all. I also want to say a massive thank you to a lot of my friends and followers on Instagram who have been super kind and giving me lots of support and well wishes, and lots of prayers and kindness has been sent. A few weeks ago I had some bad news in our family, which if you want to go and have a look, you'll be able to find it on Instagram. And I don't really want to discuss the main topic of it on the podcast, because I like to try and keep the podcast nice and cheery if possible. But we fell with some really shocking and distressing news. I can't remember how long ago it was. It all seems such a horrible blur. But I'm okay and my family are doing alright. And thank you for asking and keeping an eye on me. It's really appreciated, and I just wanted to say that I am very thankful and that I love you guys a lot, and it means a lot to me. I'm going to need you all quite a bit, I think, over the coming months. If it's not for support, it'll be for keeping me cheery and enjoying seeing all of your projects. So keep doing stuff like that, because I want to see them all on Instagram, and it'll keep me happy. Give me something to look at that's nice and inspiring. So, but I just wanted to say thank you to all my friends and podcast viewers and Instagram subscribers and just general friends in the knitting and crafting community. And I think I'll leave it at that, and we'll go on to some knitting subjects. So today I am wearing a couple of knitted pieces. Yay! This is a hat that I knit out of some of my hand spun that I did. I think this was last year that I knitted this hat. I gotten some fibre from Nonoko, I think it is, Fibres. It's I think she's from Wales. I'm trying to recall. But I spun a singles about a DK weight, and I looked for a hat pattern, and this is the 100 Stitch Slouch, which is by Andrea Mowry, which at the minute a lot of her stuff is quite popular. So if you haven't checked out this hat, you might want to. It's got a lovely amount of slouch. It's one of my favourite hats because it fits nicely around my head and I wear it all the time. Also, this fibre is super soft, and this is the Antique Rose colourway. So if you're wondering what that fibre colourway looks like, this is it. And it's basically got hints of pink and green, and it kind of looks all over a little bit beigey, but it's really nice, and I can tell where the Antique Rose comes from. The next thing that I'm wearing is my Sugar Plum shawl, which is a pattern and design by Mina Phillip of the Knitting Expert podcast. Hello, Mina. I did a test knit for her earlier this year, and you can tell that it's been folded up in my wardrobe because there's a crease. But yeah, this is one of my favourite shawls, and I figured because I was wearing a grey t-shirt that I should get it out and get it worn. So that's what I'm wearing today. Group news, we still have the Harvest Hass-Along 2016 going on and is hosted with me and my friend Twee of the Twisted Stitches podcast. So if you do knit a hat and want to join in, please post it in the FO threads of both of our groups to be in a chance to win prizes. You also have to be subscribed to our groups just in case. But all the rules are up there and you can check those out. And the end date for this, Carl, is the 15th of November. So you've still got a good month in which, three weeks in which to knit a hat, which seems quite simple to me. Seems like you've got plenty of time. So please do come and join in. We've got loads of lovely FOs in that group already. We also have a couple of prizes. One of those is a beautiful project bag which was donated to us by Bird Street UK, which is Claire. She's a UK Etsy seller and she's donated us another one of these vintage camera bags, which is made out of a really sturdy, tough fabric. It's got a really nice box base. Inside it's got lovely fabric, it's got pockets, oh wrong side, pockets and beautiful lining, this gorgeous charm and tassel. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Claire's Etsy shop, you should go over and check it out. All the links will be in my show notes. And also we got a little, almost like a little prize kit, which consisted of a really cool Dr. Seuss project bag with a little selection of mini skeins and some stitch markers, which was gifted to us. Don't actually have it out with me, I forgot to bring it. Which was gifted to us by Debbie of Down Sheepy Lane. She's a wonderful Etsy seller. And she does all sorts. She hand dyes yarn, she creates project bags, she does stitch markers. She literally does so much. And her things are really lovely. So if you haven't checked out her Etsy shop, you should do so. Both of them are UK sellers. So we already have a couple of prizes, so that's super exciting. Next thing is to share a couple of FOs with you. I'm not going to share tons of stuff with you today, I decided, because I already recorded an hour-long podcast and it went a little bit. So I'm going to try and keep it a little bit short and sweet to fit in as much as I can, but not go overboard. So the first thing, I've got two FOs. One is my Mexican blanket socks, which I did out of some Opal Happy, which is their sparkly base that they did as a limited run last Christmas. And I knitted this using the Dave sock pattern, which is by Rachel Coopy of Coop Knits, and that's the Coop Knits socks, I think it's book 2 that I got this out of, and I did the Afterthought heel for this version, which is like a rounded heel. It kind of decreases like you do at the top of the crown of a hat, and then you bind it off. And using the same sock pattern, I have to apologise for this because I've already worn them, and because I wear my socks in my boots, I'm really naughty, and so they've rubbed up a little bit. But these are my Halloween socks. So these are my kind of Frankenstripe socks, and this is knitted from a sock blank that I got from Andre Sue Knits, Andy, and I got one of her sock blanks, which was Frankenstein and his bride, and you can see that I've already fluffed these up quite a bit. they're lovely. I use the same pattern as the Mexican blanket socks. The pattern's great, the fit is great, I really love these. This sock yarn is super nice. I would say it's really soft, so I possibly maybe shouldn't have worn these in my boots, but you know what, they're made for wearing, so to hell with it. So yeah, so I finished those as well and they look amazing. I was wanting some Halloween stripy yarn, and to my excitement and joy, they came out in like a 2-colour stripe. So you get like two lilac, two rows of striping in 2 different colours, lilac, and repeated, and it's so fun how it's come out. I love these. So thank you, Andy, for making these awesome sock blanks. You are amazing at it. Keep doing it. So yeah, I am a very naughty sock wearer. I like to wear these in my boots. I love to wear all of my socks in my boots a lot of the time. So they do get worn, and they do get plenty of scuffing and rubbing. So yeah, I'll try not to show you my worn socks often. But I love them, so yeah, I'm glad to have those off of the needles. It means more socks. I also entered my Franken stripe socks, which is what I'm naming them, in the Knit Halloween 2016 car, which is hosted by Lara of the Fawn Knits, which I think is going on for another couple of weeks. So, but that's to knit anything Halloweeny themed, so you might still have time to knit something Halloween. Join in. Halloween knitting is fun. The next thing, I'll show you some whips. So, you know what, I think one of my whips has escaped me and I'm not sure where I've put it. Found it. So I started my Quadrillion sweater. I think I showed you the yarn after Yarn Deal, because I bought the yarn there. And the yarn is the John Arbon Viola in the North Sea colourway. I'll show you over here because this is good colour representation. It's got heathered tones through it, and it's beautiful, really nice and squishy and soft. This base is actually the exact same as the base of the Knit by Numbers yarn. It is slightly more expensive because of the tonalness and the blend of how they get the colours. It's really gorgeous. So I started my Quadrillion sweater. I haven't done a ton amount on it because it's quite complicated, and as you know, I had bad news, so my head has actually been more into plain knitting than distraction knitting. I'm sure I will get to the distraction knitting at some point, but I've done a little bit. But this has got like, I think it's like 8 different panels of cables, all repeat at different amount of rows. So some repeat every 8 row, 10 row, some 20, some 22, I think, 32, 4. They all repeat at different row amounts, so it's quite complicated and I have to keep a tally of what row I'm on, but it's coming out super nicely. I will hold it back a bit because you might get a better view without it blowing out, but it is coming on really well. I should have probably got this onto a second needle because then I'd be able to show you all the detail a lot better than what I can here. But it's coming on really nice. I'll have to take a picture and put it on my project page, but I haven't even finished a full repeat yet of the biggest cable panel. I think the biggest panel goes to 32 rows and I'm not there yet. I think I'm on 20, so not far away. But the yarn is beautiful, I'm really enjoying it, and it is quite a complex cable pattern. I say that it's got 8 different panels, but the 8 different panels itself aren't just the same thing all the way up. They change with different patterns or different kinds of cables. So it's not as intuitive as I'd like to make it simple or anything, but I'm not bothered by that. And also I've got 2 stitch markers in here and 2 in here, because these stitch markers show me where it's patterned on the wrong side rows, basically, so that I don't just purl straight across them. So there is quite a bit to think about in knitting this project, and I'm keeping this project in my knit and stitch bits bag, which is a really nice sweater size bag. It's a large size, and I keep that in there for safety. So I'm really enjoying it. The pattern is by Megan Fernandez, and it's from, I think, the 6th issue of Pom Pom Quarterly, which is one of my favourite issues. I got, I think it was last year, I managed to find somewhere in Australia that had a copy still left, and I snagged it. So I was super happy. But that is like one of my earliest issues of Pom Pom Quarterly. My next project that I've got on my needles, I'm keeping actually in a makeup bag, but it's covered in lemons, which is why I love it. It's bright and cheery, and it's got lots of my pom-pom badges and even a Republic of Wool badge stuck on there. And this is housing my alpaca plethard, which is some yarn that I got from Paris. It's like I'm not sure if it's baby alpaca or just alpaca. I'm not 100%, but both of these are 50 gram skeins, and I'm knitting the Ask Love hat pattern, which is out of the latest Pom Pom Quarterly, which is the autumn edition, because I know the winter one's coming out soon. And basically all I've got is a ton of ribbing. This is like twisted rib, and this is only 7 centimeters. I've got another 5 to go, and it is hard work. And keeping progress with my little progress keeper, which is from Molly of a Homespun House. I would like to say, if you're ever like not fully understood how twisted ribbing works, because some patterns only twist the knit stitches and not the purls, and I did that on my High Heart Bees pattern, but that's only because you see the right side of the fabric, so you don't need to twist the purls because the purl stitches are the same. However, if you're doing a brim on, say, a hat, you're not going to see this side, so you would twist them, the knit stitches, but you have to twist the purl stitches so that the knit stitches on the opposite side are twisted. So obviously the purls at this side are your knits at this side, so you need to twist them so you get the twisted rib on the wrong side of the hat, which becomes your right side when you turn your brim. So if you ever wondered why some of them have twisted knits and purls and some of them don't, that's why. So the Ask Love hat is a really lovely pattern that's in the latest edition of Pom Pom, and it's got rows of leaves travelling up the hat, and I really liked it. I fell in love with it, and the image itself has a yellow and cream hat, and the lady is wearing a really blue denim shirt, which straight away made me think of these 2 skeins of yarn, because lemon and blue. So I never knew what I wanted to knit with these until I saw that hat pattern, and straight away it jumped out at me. I thought it was ideal. And I'm doing that for the Autumn Colours 16 Cal, hosted by Katie and Marsha. Katie is Katie of Inside 23, everybody knows Katie, and she's a lovely friend of mine. And the other host is Marsha of the Twitch and Stitch podcast, who also does a really lovely show. I was going to join into the Strand Along, which is hosted by Nathan of the Sockmatician podcast. However, I'm not going to be able to get this done by the end of October, and I'm not going to push myself to do that either, because it just makes it a little bit less fun when I start panic knitting, and I'm trying to chill out with my knitting and not be so obsessive over it. My next project I'm doing as part of the Graveyard Cal, which is hosted by Kat of Yarn 30 podcast and Kat's Kettle Yarns, and she's doing a knit along where you can revive a old project and bring it back from the grave, or you can basically rip out a project that you think you're no longer going to work on and never will pick up again. This, however, is my striated cowl. I don't know how to pronounce it all. This is also a pom-pom project. Pom-pom crazy this week. I've had this on the needles since February. Really bad. And I'm knitting this out of Jameson's Shetland Spindrift. This is some like deep stash I had, and this is the 410 colourway cornfield and the 25 gram skeins. I'm not sure of the meterage. Oh, 105 metres in one of these. And I've got just over halfway. I think I've got about another 70 centimetres to do. I'm nearly there, and I've got a few weeks, so I'm nearing to the end. Let's hope I get this finished, because I really do want to get it finished. And this yarn does feel ever so slightly scratchy, but I've never actually tried it on against my skin. I'm going to condition it and see whether I can get it to be not too prickly. But I really love the colour. I think it's gorgeous. So when I saw this project in Pom Pom, I straight away thought that it was perfect for this yarn, because they ask for this yarn as a yarn recommendation for the pattern. But I also, since I had it in deep stash with no project in mind, figured why the hell not. It's beautiful and I love it. And keeping that in my Halloween bag, which I worn on the Four Knits podcast on one of the knit alongs, and Debbie Reese made this of periscoping scissors, and it's gorgeous. I love it. I still love it. I saved it especially. Absolutely adore that bag. And then my next project as well is one that I only just started because I got my socks finished. I started another little sock, which is one that was shared this week on the Knitting Expat podcast, which is the Beezooka Socks. So if you see that picture there, it's like these little slip-on tiny socks that go under your shoes and are quite hidden. So I've been needing some of these for a pair of shoes that I bought this year that I've only just gotten out to try and wear in, and they're such sturdy, quite stiff leather that I need some small nice coverage socks underneath. So I started them. I've got like the tiniest toe going on. And I'm knitting this with my Zauberball yarn, which I've had in my stash for quite a while, and I decided they go perfectly with my shoes, which are a nice like golden beigey colour, and I thought this would be really cute. So this is trying to see if it's got a colourway on here. Can't find a colourway, but this is the just standard Zauberball and I can't find the colourway, but though it's the green, pink and cream colour socks, and I think they'll be lovely. And I've actually knitted some socks with this yarn before, so it is kind of like a singles. It does vary a little bit in thickness, slightly, ever so slightly, but when you're knitting it you can sometimes tell that there's like slightly thicker than areas to others. But I've only just started that project, and the pattern is, I think it's in UK £1.80. I'd say that it is quite roughly written. I think Michelle Colleen is a quite new pattern writer, and so it is quite, I think if you have done a lot of sock patterns, this will be easy for you to pretty much follow. But I also think it could do with probably a little bit of made a little bit more coherent, maybe, how it's set up. But otherwise the pattern is generally followable, and I'm going about it really well and I'm enjoying it. I have heard that you put in, I heard from Mina's podcast that you put in your own preferred heel, so I probably will just use a short row heel like a fish lips kiss heel or something, because that's like one of the easiest heels for me to use. Next things, I'll go on to some stash enhancements. Before I go on to that though, I am doing the Knit 1000 grams, which is a knit along by Lee of the Luli podcast, and it's aimed to try and use some stash. Except for I keep acquiring stash. So I noticed that the Knitting Goddess had updated some of her yarn, what she had left over from Yarndale, and I kind of wish that I'd got one of these skeins, so I did. And I'm thinking that I'm going to use it for my fleece and sea hat, which I've had the pattern for a couple of weeks now and no yarn. So I bought this, which is her Freckles DK, and this is Blueface Leicester DK, and the wool is sourced from UK flocks and processed in and spun in Yorkshire. This is 100 grams, which is 225 meters per skein, and this is the Sunshine Freckles colourway. So you can see it's got like orangey peachy tones and blues. I don't know if you can see it quite that well, but I will be putting a picture at some point on Instagram. But this is so cute. So this is intended for my fleece and sea hat. I just need to cast on a tension sample and check that first. I then also picked up, before I started doing the knit along, I picked up a skein from the Beezooka Socks website, and they were also at Yarndale, and I saw some of Life in the Long Grass yarns, as well as some of her Honan dyed yarns, which is lovely as well, and I forgot to go back and treat myself to something. I got so carried away in the day, and I decided to get a skein of Urban Flowers, except for I think that the picture of Urban Flowers on the website was actually the wrong image, and this wasn't what I was expecting, but it is fine because I still absolutely love this colourway. But I posted a picture of the colourway on my Instagram because I was super excited at how bright it was, and I think the colourway of that one is actually called Tangerine Dream, as far as I've researched since then. This is called Urban Flowers, and this is more greens and pinks, which, like I say, is not bad because I love greens and pinks, so you can totally see why I would love this colourway, because it is still very much me. It's still very much got neon shades and brightness in here, and it's got little tiny freckly speckles of like blues and oranges and greens and pinks it's really cute and I really love it. So I didn't say anything because I'm going to keep it anyway, so there's no point. However, I think in future I will make sure that when I do shop on our website, I double check my colourway either via Ravelry or images to make sure that that is definitely the colour that I'm intending on getting. Because I received this and I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's totally different. The one that I'd ordered, the skein that I'd ordered was like a really creamy, rice puddingy colour, full of really bright blues and pinks, but they were in big sections with like almost blacks. And if you go over to my Ravelry, my Instagram, it's still up there. You'll be able to see what I mean about the difference. It's definitely the wrong colour, but I still love this. So I didn't say anything because I intended on still keeping it. There's no way I'm sending that really nice yarn back. I intend to make socks with it either way. I also treated myself to this, which is the Wool Week annual. I haven't properly even looked through this yet. Like I say, my head has been an absolute shed, so my mind is very much been elsewhere over the past 3 weeks. It's very much been mum orientated, and she's like the only thing that's mainly on my mind apart from knitting, because that's my downtime. But I got the Wool Week annual, which I haven't really looked through yet. But I mainly bought it because it's got the Croft Hoose hat pattern, which is by Ella Gordon, and also the mittens pattern that's paired with. So both of the patterns are in here and I bought it because of that, but there's some other lovely designs. So I think at a later date I will share a little bit more with you of the annual when I've looked through it a little bit more. So I'll save that for another episode. I also won a giveaway. I've won 2 giveaways actually recently. All of those who have watched the Hey Sister podcast, I have watched as well. I won a prize on their hat cal, which is super exciting. So I'm still waiting on my prize for that, but I got really super giddy because that was definitely a highlight of one of the days in a bit of a solemn week. So it was quite nice to find that I'd won a giveaway. It made me very happy. I also won, maybe a month or so ago now, a Instagram giveaway that was based on friendship, basically, and you tagged in one of your best friends, and I tagged in Twee of the Twisted Stitches podcast. Hi Twee. She's a lovely friend, and she also tagged me back, and we ended up winning out of, there was 4 skeins of yarn. This is on the Orange Knits Instagram, which is Mara, who does the jelly roll socks. She wanted to gift some autumn themed yarns to some friends, so me and Twee actually won, and we got 2 skeins each, and I received mine actually this week. Yay! They arrived safely. She also gifted me some stitch markers and this gorgeous soap. This smells beautiful. I might have to look this up, but I might have to just keep this in a project bag. It's lovely. But I got some 2 gorgeous skeins. Both of these skeins, I have never knit with any of these yarns, either of these yarns, sorry. So it's quite exciting to try something new, especially because they're not from around me. So this is Basic Sock Layers, which is by a treehuggerswifeyarns.com. and this is Circus Art, which is 100% merino wool, 400 yards, 100 grams fingering weight. In these like gorgeous greens and golden browns. I love this skein. I think it's gorgeous. Oh, isn't it pretty? It's lovely. It's a twisted ply base and it's just really nice. It says basic sock, but because it's only merino yarn, so I'm still deciding whether I'm going to make socks with this or something else, but it might be socks. But I probably might not wear them in my boots because that's not the best idea. But I really love that. And then I also received this, which is kind of a really special yarn, since I recently just found out that the dyer of this yarn has passed away quite recently, which is horrible. But the yarn is gorgeous, and I'm very lucky to be able to knit with this yarn. This is Limited DK, Where Dreams Become Reality, and this is by the Cyborgs Craft Room. I know Molly of a Homespun House used to rave on about her hand-dyed yarns and how beautiful they were, and I remember her knitting, I think, some socks out of her yarn, and the colours are absolutely gorgeous and amazing. In fact, it reminds me of oil spills, like, you know, in water, and they're oil spills with all the blues and other colours. It reminds me a little bit of that, but it's gorgeous. But I can't help but feel slightly sad that she's passed away. So that's really horrible. But I will make something really nice out of this and treasure it. And thinking, because it's a DK weight, I might make a hat of some sort. I think it'd be quite a nice hat. Just wear the yarn on my head. I won't make it into a hat. I will just wear it like this. So yeah, I will make something out of this at some point. But all of these are just going to sit in my stash. So I'm meant to have been doing the Knit 1000 grams challenge, and already I've gained 400 grams. And I've still got as well another skein coming from the Hey Sister podcast for my hat knit along. So I'm trying to knit 1000 grams and I've already then technically gained 500. So it's not quite working. I'm still acquiring yarn at quite a nice rate and it's still taking over. But you know, I'm not worrying, I'm not panicking. It will get knit. So I think that's all that I've got to talk about this week. I did have an incident over the last week, kind of a washing incident, where my oak crest hat, my recent oak crest hat, got a little bit washed on a 40-degree wash, and it still looks kind of okay. The stitches have ever so slightly felted a bit together in certain areas, but the depth of it, I know I mentioned that it was short anyway in the depth because I'd used the wrong needle. It's even shorter. It seems that the width is kind of still okay, but the depth has shrunk. It looks silly. It looks like a tea cozy now. So this, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not wearing it anymore. The mittens that I made to match this, however, my Turian mitts, because my mum fell in love with those and thought they were super cute, I have actually gifted those to her so she can enjoy those through the winter and keep her hands warm on walks and things, which I'm sure she'll enjoy wearing those mittens. So I don't really know what to do with this now. It's short. Oh well. So, silly story there. Don't go washing your hats on a 40-degree wash. It kind of snuck in with my washing. But bad things always happen. But it's okay, I'll just make another one in the future. My third oak crest hat. Just keep making them. Anyway, 40 minutes, so I better get going. But thank you for watching me, and I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you keep coming back and enjoying more episodes. And I will see you maybe next week or in a couple of weeks' time. Thank you. See you later. Bye.